Well, hello, sewing friends. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. I had a couple little uh, microphone glitches there. So let's see. I see Bev Kern says she's happy to be here. Crafting with Marilyn says she's here. Let's see. And Ann tells me she can hear me. Great. All right. Welcome to the last Let's Go So Tell Me live show with Joanne Banko on the Let's Go Sew with Joanne Banko channel, where sewing enthusiasts gather to be inspired and learn to make the most of their machines. It's been such a fabulous year with all of you. Hello, Star Raymond. Let me say hi to a few of you. Patricia from the Adirondacks. Cindy's here. Judy's here. Aloha, Judy. Ginger's here. Karina, Linda, Carolyn from windy South Dakota. Hey, Sue. Pink waving back at you. Hi, Kim, Wendy. Wow, the comments are coming in here so fast that I can't quite get to all of them all at one time. And my friend Reen is here from Embroidery Garden too. Hey, Reen, always good to have you here. And let's see, Arlene's here. Cindy King from Texas, my girl from Texas. Cindy, always good to have you here. And everybody, thank you so much for joining. I've been working really hard on putting together some snippets for you of some great shows from this past year. I've just been so privileged and so blessed to be able to have all of you here joining me. And haven't we had a great bunch of guests? I'd love to know in the chat if you possibly have been here for every So Tell Me live show. If you have, thanks a bunch. I really appreciate it. It's been something I've been doing for a month here. And for a month. I've been doing every month for a year. And it's just really been a joy to visit with all of you and have so many great guests on. Don't we just have fabulous people in the industry? Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Dawn. Dawn, you got a little snippet in the show here. And Ann, I said last one. And what I meant was for 2023. Okay. I have no intentions of stopping. I've got a long list of folks that I want to have here on the show. And we plan to do lots more in 2024. So this is just December came quick, didn't it? I mean, wow, what happened? And my friend Kathy is here. Hi, Kathy. Good to have you here. My friend Kim is here. Hey, Kim, look what I'm drinking. Got my beautiful teacup given to me by my friend Kim. Thank you, Kim. Always great to drink tea out of a pretty cup, isn't it? Hey, Marianne. You haven't made all of them, but that's pretty good. And Jana, you wish you wish you knew of it earlier. Okay, well, I always send out a notice in an email the weekend before, and then I post it on YouTube and also post it on Facebook. So if you are on my email list, you would get notification. And also, if you are signed up for my YouTube channel, which I would love it if you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe. And that way everybody knows when something is coming up. So that is definitely the best way to find out about this. But sometimes you just get a late notification, and that's okay too. I'm just glad to have you here. Let's see. Anne, Linda. Yeah, I hope you're doing good. Always good to have you here. Anne, Mary Ann, good to have you here. Missed a few. That's life, right? And Cindy thinks she's been here for almost every live stream. That is pretty cool. That is wonderful. Thank you, Vanessa. And hey, let's everybody say hi to Kathy. Kathy, her first live hello from Minnesota. Welcome, Kathy. I hope it's the first of many, many more. And Wendy says she always catches the replay. Yes, absolutely. If you don't watch it live, it is always up there for the replay. You can either share it to your own Facebook page if you're watching on Facebook, or you can always watch it on my YouTube channel. It's always there for you. And I usually get the chance then to add some extra things into the show notes after the show as well. So let me know if there's ever anything that you're missing from me. In fact, we're going to talk about that just a little bit at the end of the show, what you might like to see next year coming up from Let's Go Sew. All right. Thank you, Joan. I really appreciate that. And Patty, thank you. That is so sweet of you to say that. I really appreciate it. And hey, Forrest, good to have you here. You're here early too. That's great. Hey, Linda, how are you doing? And Diane's here. Okay, share with the Bible study group so she can watch live and later. Okay, any way you want to watch it is fine with me. And Marcia, great. Oh, so glad to have you here. So if it is your first time here, please let me know how you found out about it. Maybe you're new to my list. Maybe you found out in another way, but I'm just happy to have you here. Star Raymond, you haven't missed too many. I know that. That's for sure. Definitely. And Anne would like to see more Serger projects. Yeah, we've got one little snippet of a Serger theme here tonight, but I definitely plan on doing more with the Serger. Absolutely, definitely. Hey, Barbara, good to have you here. Very good. So we're going to have plenty of time for conversation in between the snippets that I want to show you and afterwards as well. So just got a few minutes of clips from several different people. And if you saw those shows, let me know while it's playing or after it plays in the show notes. I'd love to know, if it's something that you've already seen, or what your comments might be on it. So we've really never had so many different varied guests as I have in the last couple of years. So, all right, Carolyn says she never knows whether she's watching a rerun or live. Well, you can usually tell by the comments because the comments are going to flow, like a little bit at a time when you're watching live. But then when on the replay, they're going to come up as well, but there's not going to be anybody there to answer them. So, all right, Mary Ann just got the new airflow for Mother's Day. Hey, good for you. That is a super serger. I'm having a blast with my Brother Airflow 3000 serger. I am a Brother ambassador. Most of you know that, but really, it's a sweetheart of a machine, definitely. And Karina would like to see more feet. Aha. I guess that's how you say it in Norwegian, right, Karina? Karina's here all the way from Norway. I have a whole list already of Meet the Feet videos that I'm going to be doing because that is definitely one of my specialties. And yes, Dawn from Creative Applique says, now Joanne is live. Absolutely. And my good friend June, I always appreciate you being here. And you have loved all the guests. I really appreciate you meeting. You hearing that from you means an awful lot. And yeah, Reen's talking about the F foot that I talked about. I'll just grab mine right here real quick. Reen and I, along with Rhonda Sigrist, Karina Paulson, Angela Wolf, of course, who hosted it, and Heather Banks, we all got together and did a holiday gift making show. So you can find out more about that on Angela Wolf's website. You can find out more about that on all of our social media channels. And if you have any questions about it, I always also send out an email on it. If you have any questions, just email me. There are special discounts from now until December 15th. There are 6 projects and I think like over 40 hours of videos. But I did use a somewhat new foot to me. And if you're in the brother world, you may be aware of the normal end foot that's used for decorative stitching. The big feature on this foot is that it's big, for one thing. It also has a clear opening in the toe so you can see a little bit better. And it also has a deep groove or channel on the underside so that it can ride over those decorative stitches. Well, lo and behold, they have now introduced a new end foot. It's called the enhanced end foot, and it has a special coating on the bottom that makes it slide over your fabric really easy. It's got little brackets on the back that hook onto the shank of your machine, the holder that holds the foot, so it's more stable. And I was surprised to find out it's about 1/4 of an inch longer than the standard end foot as well. So that is a super, super, super foot. Boy, I should know this, Dawn. You're saying it actually came with the XP3 upgrade. I believe you are correct, and I should know that. And it is also available separately. So if you have another brother machine or a clone, a similar cousin, kissing cousin machine, I like to call it, and you have this standard end foot, you can replace it with the enhanced end foot. I was really, really impressed with it. And Crafting with Marilyn likes it. Great. Yeah, it's when you do those wide decorative stitches that actually function by the feed dogs moving from side to side, it's literally your fabric's dancing all over the place, and it can be really tricky to keep that nice and smooth and straight. So having that enhanced foot gives it better holding power, and it is really nice about going in a smooth fashion across your fabric because of that that extra slippery coating on the bottom. It's built into the foot, so it's not like a coating that can wear off. It's actually part of the makeup of the actual foot. Some kind of a new, there's a fancy name for it, some kind of a new like metal type. So yeah. Well, thank you, Clovis. I appreciate hearing that. Hope you learn some new things tonight. And Christy, that is such a kind compliment. Thank you. Sewing really is therapy for all of us, isn't it? I've said over and over and over again, I actually feel some sorrow for people that don't sew or do some sort of creative work with their hands if they have the ability to do that, because I think there's a special part inside all of us that needs to create. I believe we were created, and I believe we were made to create as well. All right, let's see. Let's bring up a few new comments. Yep. Caroline likes the way it goes, and Sandra has it as well. And see, Mary's got a question. Do you think that the foot could be used? I'm pretty much doubting it unless you've used other snap-on feet that came from the brother world. There's every machine has its little just nuance that makes it attach, with the feet. And I would, I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. If you have a way of testing it, maybe a friend, or you could take it to a shop that has both. That's the proof is in the pudding. When you use a presser foot properly, this is a really good point, no matter what presser foot it is, it should be fully seated on top of your feed dog. So if my fingers were feed dogs, this foot should sit so that it's covering the feed dogs. If the feed dogs are wider and my foot is narrower, that's going to be a problem. Or if my foot is wider and the feed dogs are narrower, that's also going to be a problem. So not only is the attachment spot where it snaps on, or in the case of other feet that screw on, important and specific, it's also very important that it sits right on the feed dogs, because when you know, in reality, the only way your fabric moves is by contact between the bottom of the presser foot and the feed dogs from below. Those of you that do free motion, you probably, you know, are aware of that. But if you're, you know, you're doing free motion, you are actually disengaging your feet so that they are not there. And when you disengage the feet and they're not there, you are the mover and shaker, because there's nothing else that can move your fabric through if there is not contact between the foot and the feed dogs. Yep. All right. And Forrest has a tip. So thank you, Forrest. That is good to know. Maybe there's a similar foot. June has plans to get it very soon. And hey, Clovis thinks this is exciting. It is exciting to me every time I get a chance to visit with all of you. It's very exciting for me. And Marilyn, or Joanna, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of crafting with Marilyn. Joanna, congratulations. You got a French European body form from Joe Vecchiarelli. You will not regret it. I didn't feature him in my show tonight. There just wasn't enough time for everybody and everything. But if you go back to my YouTube channel and go in the playlist of the So Tell Me live shows, I did a show with Joe just a couple months ago, I think. Oh, maybe it might even have been last month. I don't know. Once like November hits, like my brain just goes into like shutdown mode. Like, what in the world is happening? Because the whole year just seems to spin away so incredibly fast. But you could definitely search for Joe Vecchiarelli on the Joanne Banko show, and you will find it. If you haven't seen those dress forms, I know many of you have seen them on Angela Wolf on all her shows, because she uses them. They are just amazing, absolutely amazing. And if you can get them fitted with the padding from him according to your measurements, that is just the best way to go. All right. I didn't expect so many great questions this early in the evening, but that's great. Donna wants to know, what is the invisible zipper foot? Well, I don't happen to have that one handy, but it's a great question. An invisible zipper foot, also known as a concealed zipper foot. So if you see that name, they are totally interchangeable. There's a brand name for invisible zippers, but the generic term for them is basically a concealed zipper. And a concealed zipper is sewn in with the teeth along the actual seam line of your project, your garment, whatever it is, so that when it's zipped up, it's completely hidden. I have a great video on that I did for the It's So Easy TV show. So again, if you search my channel and look for invisible zipper, you will find that show, and you will find me using the invisible zipper foot. What makes the invisible zipper foot so special is it has grooves on the underside that line up perfectly where the needle is going in, so that the needle sews alongside the coils of the zipper. And usually what you want to do is press those coils flat and open beforehand, so that the straight stitching line from the invisible zipper foot can get really close. And that way, when you zip up the zipper, it literally disappears. It could be called the disappearing zipper because that's really and truly what it is. That's another foot that, like I said, I've already done a video on that, but don't be surprised if I don't do more. All right. Oh, we're seeing questions. Do you know the number? The number of the actual foot, I do not. Donna, I don't know if you're talking about the enhanced end foot. Off the top of my head, I do not know it. Maybe somebody else here can pop that in the chat. That would be great. That would be great. Great. And Diane's here from Chicago. Great. Oh, and Ginny's sending a virtual hug. How wonderful. I appreciate that so much. And my friend Christina is here. You are not around very much, my girl. You're usually out and about, zipping across the world and seeing what else is out there. All right. And Karina, yeah, I hear you. Anything that we can do that we can get lost in, and that's another beauty of sewing. We live in a crazy world, and when you can go into your sewing space and start creating, whether you're making something for yourself or like many of us love to do, gifting to someone else, you know, everything else kind of washes away, and we're in a happy space. We're in a happy zone. And in fact, that's one of the things that I talked about during the year. I asked my guests, my special guests that I had, what are some of your suggestions for making your sewing space a happy place? So if you're able to go back and watch the whole replays of all the videos, you'll find in virtually every single time I had a guest here, I asked that question. We had some really, really good answers. Oh, Bev, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, Hopefully, just even thinking about sewing and talking about sewing and looking at someone else. So I think that can be therapeutic as well. So I wish things improve for you and things get better fast. I wish the best for all of you. I really just I know, some of us know each other close close and see each other, and I appreciate that, but I really feel a great connection to uh, everybody that's here, from having you be here for so many different shows and all the conversations that we've had and all the wonderful emails I get. And feel free to reach out to me at any time. Let me go ahead and bring up my uh, website if I can find it. Let's see. Okay, would you believe I don't even have it up here, but I'll get that made for you. June, you plan to put an invisible zipper in a memory pillow. That's a good one. I've used them in pillows. It actually is a great, great, great closure for a pillow. One of the things, like I said, about it is that you're actually able to, have it just disappear. There's my website there if you're interested in finding that. And that's also where you could sign up for my email list so that you don't miss a stitch, so that you always know what's going on here, what's going live. My newsletters, I don't really call them a newsletter. I call them a love note. I send one out every weekend. You'll never be bombarded with junk from me. If it's not something that I would send to, a local friend, I'm not going to send it to you. So I hope you get something out of it. And I always try to put at least some different tips in there and some different things. And yeah, fireside video. Okay, Deborah, I got to bring this up just really quick here. I had full intentions for a real, true fireside video. Uh, Unfortunately, my master fire maker, otherwise known as my dear husband, is a little under the weather. And since he wasn't there to light the fire for me and keep it burning, I had to forego, and I completely forgot that I had this little funny one to show you. But better than nothing, right? I do have a fireplace, and I hope that I can in the future do a real true fireside chat with you. Oh, thank you, Julianne. You get a lot done. I've seen you send me some pretty cool stuff and some great pictures. I've seen a lot of great stuff lately, and heard a lot of great stories from so many of you over the whole entire year. Oh, thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that. And thank you, Bev. I do really appreciate that. I know if I get just a few emails commenting something or answering a question, or asking a question, then I know that my emails are getting out there and getting read. So thank you, Barbara. Oh, you guys, I feel like I'm being like showered with just special gifts tonight from all of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Marianne, thank you. He will watch the replay and he will get a big kick out of that. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Shirley. Appreciate that. Anne, you make a lot of goodies too. You always make zippered pillows so they can change the pillowcase. Yeah. My second favorite way of doing pillow closure is buttons and buttonholes. And actually, that's another show that I have in mind to do. I really love making decorative buttonholes, whether they're embroidered or made by adding decorative stitches from the sewing machine. And one of the things I love about that is that if you use decorative buttonholes and decorative buttons on the back of your pillow, you can flip your pillow around and use it as an accent for the back side of the pillow as well. We all, a lot of times we're just wanting to get her done, and we do whatever we have to get that closure so we can get that pillow stuffed and close it up. But it really is very handy to be able to remove that, even if you're not going to wash it very often. It's nice to be able to take that off. So zippered is good, but I like the buttonholes too. So watch for something on that to come around soon. Thank you, Kim. Kim, I feel like I'm your personal guru sometimes, because you'll reach out to me at any time. Just pop out a note there, help, I'm doing something. Can you help me? And I'm always glad to help. Fortunately, I've had a lot of experience. I really feel that I am still learning. I'm sure all of you would say that, no matter everybody that I've had as guests over this past year. No matter how great of an expert they are, I'm sure they would say the exact same thing. That's one of the fun things about sewing, is it's always fresh and new, because we are always trying new things. I used to like to say, and I still say it sometimes, I'm like a mad scientist in the sewing room, because I like to experiment. But if you think about it, almost every combination we make is unique from the combination we made previous to it, right? Doesn't that make perfect sense? Um, the variables are different, the fabric's different, the weather's different. And if you haven't ever experienced, strange things happen in your sewing room just because the weather is funny, I bet you have. I bet you know what I mean. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, and thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel when I'm writing them. I'm writing to my friends. Absolutely. And Marianne appreciates the email reminders. Yeah. Sometimes I hesitate to send out the reminder for the live show, because the Saturday is when I send out the notification that it's coming up. And then a lot of you read them on Sundays. Monday, then it comes around and it's the live show. But I've had people write to me and say, if you wouldn't have sent me that reminder, I wouldn't have been there. So it can't hurt. The great thing about email is if you read it and you're done with it and it doesn't serve you anymore, you can delete it and it's gone. So it's always good to do more rather than less if you think it's going to be able to help somebody. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kim. I hope so, because yeah, taking us out of our own comfort zones in the sewing space is something that we should probably do on a regular basis, because you're going to find out new things that you love to do. I'll just tell you a real quick little kind of philosophy. I love to learn new things, and I like to try things. And many of my friends know that in the world of quilting in particular, quilting is not necessarily the top on my top 10 list. I like doing it. I like quilted projects, but I wouldn't really consider myself by any means what's the word I want? A real qualified quilter. But I love to take quilting classes, and I take them whenever I have the opportunity, because whenever I do, I'm going to experience something that I haven't experienced before, taught by somebody that knows way more about it than I do, because it's not a real true area of expertise for me. And I never know what I might fall in love with. And that might be the same thing with embroidery techniques, with sewing techniques, with serger techniques. Unless you try things out, and maybe that's just by viewing it through a video or hearing somebody else talk about it. There's just something unusual that happens. It's kind of like when you're a child, or when you're little and your mother or your parents or your family or whoever you're with feeds you something, and the first time you taste it, you either know if you like it or you don't. Now, hopefully didn't grow up a fussy eater, and if somebody had you try something you didn't like it the first time, you gave it another chance, or maybe when you grew up you tried it again. But it's kind of funny because when you watch children eat the same thing at the same time, one might start devouring it, and the other one is like, no, not for me. The faces that they make are pretty amazing in and of itself. But what that shows me, what my mind starts to think about, is that we have something innate inside of us that attracts us to certain things, just like colors. Some of you like certain colors. Maybe you've always loved yellow since you were a child. So there's just these things that you never know what you're going to like, or what you're going to really enjoy, or what you're going to have an affinity for, meaning you're going to be able to do and do well until you try it out, right? Does that make sense? I'm good at sharing all my little philosophies. We got some more jumping in here. Hi, Gay. Good to have you here. I haven't seen you for a while. It's always good to see you. And Cindy's here. Christy says, with all the new tech, we are all learning as it rolls out. You are totally, completely spot on with that, Christy, because that's another reason why we never stop learning, because something's always changing. Sometimes it's mind-boggling. Let me know in the chat if you get a little overwhelmed at times by all the new things that are coming out. I'm not one of those, what they call an early adapter, meaning, there's certain types of people. And again, I think this is part of just the way you're wired inside. They want to, immediately, the first thing that comes out, they want to try it. They want to use it. I'm a little bit more like the cautious type. I want to learn a little more about it. I want to read about, I want to see somebody else use it, talk about it, and then I want to kind of decide if it's something I really am going to make use of. In my recent note that I sent out this weekend, I talked a little bit about my fabric buying philosophy when it comes to buying cottons. And I look for value. So I look at the big picture. Yeah, sometimes I buy something, I think, I got to have that. And then later on, I'm like, why did I buy that thing? Most of the time, though, I'm thinking about it a little bit. Okay, so Carolyn's got a question. Maybe this would be something for everybody here. What kind of closure would you recommend for a bench pillow? You never made one before, you want to make one. So the bench pillows, I actually have one. I can't reach it right now because it's behind my dress form, but I have one in progress right now, literally for a bench. And I'm not making it, with the big appliques or embroidery designs or anything on it. I'm just making a kind of a simple one with a little bit of ribbon trim. And I plan on putting in a zipper for that. And I purchased a zipper by the yard because that pillow is, I think, 28 inches long. I think mine's 28 inches long. And that, I don't know of, anything other than coat zippers that you might find in that length. So I purchased zipper by the yard. Maybe since I haven't done it yet, I'll do a video on it so that I can show you how to do a zippered pillow closure. Not a lot different than doing it from a skirt, and from the same way you do a skirt. But I usually like to use a little bit bigger of an overlap so that zipper is fully covered. One thing that you don't want on a zippered pillow back or pillow closure, wherever the closure is, mine in this case will be in the seam, in the bottom seam. You don't want those teeth left exposed because you don't want them rubbing against any of your furniture. Over a period of time, especially if it has metal stopper or metal teeth, that could wear against your fabric, or maybe you have a leather sofa, maybe you're putting it on a bench. You don't want that to wear. So whatever you do, make sure it's something that is going to be completely covered and completely enclosed. That would be my tip. Yeah. And Anne's asking about zipper by the yard. Is it easy to connect? It's it depends. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, like I always am. It depends a little bit on the zipper teeth itself and the type of zipper pull tab that goes on it. But I've done the hard ones and I've done the easy ones. And if you don't give up at the first try, you can absolutely get that done. So you're giving me another idea for something I think I should do for a video. So thanks for that. And Sandra, you're overwhelmed the first time you need to teach students on a new machine. And Sandra, I know you do an awful lot. You've sent me some photos and you've commented on things, and I know you're very experienced. So hearing that from you is kind of encouraging because sometimes we think we should just, everything should be easy, right? But it's not. You're right. New features sometimes take a little bit of time to sink in. I'd love to hear again in the chat how you feel about this, everybody that's here. But when I'm introduced to a new machine, a new feature, new software, new techniques, my mind goes to one place immediately. Why do I care? Why do I care about this? How is this going to improve my life, my sewing life? And once I've answered that question for myself, then I hope that I can answer that question for you. Now, it doesn't mean that every single feature is going to be something that I'm going to use on a regular basis or is going to be, the best thing since sliced bread for me. But once I can understand how it would help someone else even or myself, then I feel better equipped to communicate it to someone else. So I've been known to just sit, push buttons, play. I will definitely read the manual because a lot of times in the manual, the engineers have come up with a reason for it. Now, I would love it if they told me the why. Like, this is what it is. This is why you should care. If I was writing instruction books, every one of my instruction books would be written exactly like that. I would tell you how to do it. I would tell you why you care about doing it at all. But that is a good thing. They may not need to know how to do it all, but it does sometimes take longer than just the initial study. Okay, Deborah says, do you know a good source for the zipper pulls to use for the zipper by the roll zippers? Well, from my experience, the zipper tabs should come with it. Now, I don't know. There may be some sources, some people that sell zipper tape, the actual zipper tape by the yard that have that you could sell that they. Let me try to say this again. That you could purchase extras. I believe Sally Tomato works like that. Possibly by Annie works like that, where you can buy extras. And so look into that because you usually have quite a few on there. But if you need more, check into that. And yeah, Reen, thank you. The zipper is it zipper zig or zipper jig? Maybe it's both. But a jig is usually just a generic term we use for a tool that helps you do something else. So it's a tool that you use to do some other operation. And yeah, I've seen that. I have seen that in operation. I've done it all kind of the hard way. So, oh, Karen, oh, you got a good excuse. We wish you and your daughter and the baby all the best, your whole family. So keep us posted on what happens. Take care, my friend. So Sweetness. Yes, I've watched her. Not as much as I'd like to because she's on usually at a time where I'm doing something else, but that is a great resource. Yes, we got more than one for So Sweetness and Forest. Okay, good to know. Yeah, there's so many great sources out there. I could, we could all spend all day just digging for sources. So good things. Cindy needs some new fonts for her dream machine. Do you need to buy special software to edit the fonts? Or can you just get PST files? I don't think you mean PST files. I think you mean PES files. Dawn from Creative Appliques definitely has some fonts. You might want to look into that. And remember that when you buy fonts as a design, whatever format your machine uses, so in the case of the brother would be PES, when you buy them that way, they are not what you could really consider an alphabet. I mean, yes, they're an alphabet. They're from A to Z, or 0 to 10, whatever, with punctuation marks, whatever it is. But what they actually are individual designs. So when you use them in your machine, they would have to be brought in as individual designs and then lined up together to look like a word or a name or saying or whatever. There are software programs that will allow you to do what's called font mapping. And I'm actually working on a little tutorial for that using Brother BES software. So that's one way you can do it. That's the Brother software that I've used to do it, but there are others out there, and you may want to do a little bit of research on that. But as far as buying the fonts, let's see. Anybody have recommendations for where you like to buy fonts for embroidery? Like I said, Creative Appliques definitely has some great fonts. So look into that. And then if you have any more suggestions, feel free to throw them out there. Okay, Julianne, zipper jig. Yeah, I've mentioned a jig. A jig is, I think it's just another way of saying a tool. Let's see. Karina's calling it just a thingamajig. Maybe that's where either jig came from thingamajig or thingamajig came from jig. One or the other. One or the other. And Sandra, you printed out the whole instruction manual for your luminaire. You know what? I'm a paper person. I appreciate that the manual is on the machine. So if I have a quick lookup, I can find it. I appreciate that the Brother manuals, again, this is probably not, exclusive to Brother. So you could check out on that, check into this for yourself. But very many manufacturers, and Brother in particular that I'm aware of, has the ability for you to download or just view the PDF file of the manual for even past machines that have been discontinued directly from the Brother website. You got to go to the support section of the website, and you have to find your particular machine, and then you can find the in the, I forget, they have a category for it, and you can pull it up on your screen. It's nice to copy it to your computer if you want to, or you can save it and then print it out. But I like to be able to read those words as well. It's nice for a quick lookup right on the machine, but if you really want to read something, it's nice to have more that you can look into and flip those pages. It's always nice to flip those pages, especially when you're sipping a cup of tea or coffee or whatever, all at the same time. All right, Bobby. Let's see. Bobby says she bought Spiral Bound. Yeah. If you there are, and feel free to pop it in the chat if you want to say where you got it from. There are people that have sold those separately from the machine, and maybe your dealer even offered to supply you with that with your machine. That is definitely been a bonus for some people. And back to the zipper, yeah, Chris, I've seen the fork demos. I did it just with my fingers, and I didn't have a problem. I remember being in a class once where we were doing it, and it was a brother dealer convention class, and I was one of the assistants in the class, and there were 20 people that had to get their zipper tabs on there in like a short period of time in order to finish the project. And anything under pressure, we start to fumble. So both myself and the instructor, who was really well trained in doing it, she sold the product. She had trouble doing it, but we had two Japanese engineers in there who barely spoke a word of English. But we were, it was actually a serger class. We inserted a zipper with a piping foot from the serger. Watch for a future on that too. But neither one of us could get it going. Both of those just in no time at all. They were going around the whole classroom taking care of everybody's zippers. And Jamie, hey Jamie, good to have you here tonight. You've tried the fork method, but just lining up and trimming the tape works the best. Yeah. Sally Tomato, SallyTomato.com. They sell zippers. She has a great tutorial on how to do that. Okay, and Bobby says she bought hers on eBay. Yeah. Yep. I bought a set too. I don't know who I bought them from. It's because it's been so long. But remember, this is a really important point for those of you that do have any machine that is upgradable, where you're or updatable, and many of our machines are today. Be sure you check the manufacturer's website, because when an update, updates generally are free, upgrades generally mean that it's going to include something physical and pieces and parts and something a little higher end, so you're going to pay for that. But when that comes out, then your manual is no longer current. So check your manufacturer's website to see if they have an addendum, and make sure you print and save those addendums. A little while ago, I'm looking over in the corner because I wanted to see if I still had it. I don't have it here next to me. I did a notebook cover for a Brother project. It's actually on the Brother website. It was Foot of the Month project. I believe it actually was featuring this foot that I was talking about before. And it's just a big notebook I purchased, and I'm using it for a whole bunch of things, just those important papers that I want to keep on hand. And so some of those things might be, you can't add to your spiral bound, but you can punch holes and put it in a notebook and make sure that you know where it's at, so that you can reference that. Yeah. Mary Lou, let me get your first comment here. You bought the spiral bound and bought the upgrade kit. The update pages, it's a really good question. Update, doesn't matter either way. Update or upgrade pages are on the Brother website. And there's only, you're talking about a few, so you're better off just printing them yourself. Now, keep in mind, this is maybe a no-brainer, but if you don't have a printer, and I know people that don't have a printer, and you want to have something printed, if you can save it to a portable medium like a USB, then you can go ahead and take it to an office supply place like Staples, and they will print it for you. It's very reasonable to have that done, and then they probably could even punch holes for you. Okay. That's okay, Rhonda. We appreciate you being here. Hopefully you'll be back for the replay. So speaking of replay, let me just go ahead and thank everybody for watching. I just appreciate you being here live, because it's always super fun being here live. Wouldn't you agree? Just hanging out with friends. I was so excited today because I had a quiet day. The phone never rang. Like I said, my husband's a little under the weather, so we're kind of staying away from each other. And, I didn't have much connection today, other than my cat wanted to be on my lap, and I was too busy for that. But I just kept thinking how fun it was going to be with all of you tonight. So I appreciate you being here. And yes, if you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you being here too. It's life happens, and you have to do what you have to do. But the replay is always there for you. Yeah, hanging out with friends is always good. And is it Frida or Freda? Usually, if I would say Freda, it would have two D's. So I'm thinking, but I would think Frida might have two E's. So I don't know. You tell me. Give me a phonetic pronunciation. For now, I'm going to call you Freda. And Kat, you haven't been able to sew. You're trying to organize. Oh, yeah. Like I said, just do what you can, and think about the fact that even when you're not able to actually make something, you can watch somebody else talk about it, do it, collect some ideas. And, I don't know about you, but I sew in my mind a lot just because it's fun. Just like we, sometimes have in the back of our mind our fabrics that we want to use, or projects we want to do. Those are all good, healthy thoughts. So don't ever chastise yourself for doing that. And you're watching on a daily walk. You mean to tell me it's still light out where you are? Because it's been dark here for hours now already. And Cindy, looks like you got some help with the fonts. Good. And you got to sit down. You do a lot of those t-shirt quilts, I know. And Jamie, you shop for fabric when you don't have time for sewing. Yeah. Well, that's a tip for the night. No, again, not a earth-shattering one, but I like to separate out things, and I'm really starting to work on that to do it more consistently. But put all my projects in a big Ziploc bag. I buy those big, I think they're what, 2 gallon bags. They're really huge. And I like to buy the good ones. I've bought the ones at the dollar store. I don't know. It's okay if you're really only going to do it temporarily, but I like to buy the brand name ones that are bigger, and put everything in there. The fabric, I pre-wash my fabric as soon as I buy it. I press it, and then I either fold it or roll it depending on the size, and then keep my thread in there, or even if I'm going to use a special needle, uh, notions, all those things all together in that package. Now, there's only one slight negative to that. If you don't get around to actually making it very quickly, and maybe you needed that pack of needles, or you needed that spool of thread, it's put away already. So maybe think about doing an inventory list. That could be another thing that could go in your notebook, and you can take a photo maybe with your phone or whatever, or make a list that what's in there, so that if you need to go find that, you can. I know recently I was driving myself crazy because I knew I had a pack of 100 top stitch needles, and I needed them, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I always put them back in the exact same spot, in the exact same drawer, and they weren't there. And then I remembered I had a retreat in June, and I brought that whole big box of needles with me just in case anybody needed needles. So it was still packed with the other stuff that I was saving for the next retreat. So that happens. Yeah, putting everything in a pouch or a bag, have it all ready for the project. That way too, if you're going shopping for threads and you're trying to find something that match, or notions or trims or whatever, you just grab the bag and take it with you. Hopefully you don't leave it somewhere. So let me know if you've ever done that. Left it. I have done that in the store, where I have gotten distracted by something or someone and sat down, and then had to go walk back. It's like finding your cart after you left your cart somewhere. Yeah. Not good. Caroline, you are probably one of the most organized people I know, and you make a list of everything you need. That is very smart. And crafting with Marilyn, when you don't have time to sew, you try to remember Nancy Zeman's 5, 10, 15 minutes. Yes, that's probably I think one of the best tips I ever got from her, which there are many for sure. But, everything is doable if it's broken down into chunks, right? Yeah. And if you only have a few minutes, go ahead and treat yourself to a few minutes of sewing. What size needle is best for those embroidery fonts? Cindy, that's a good question. Really and truly, the size 7511 embroidery needle is probably going to work for 97% of your sewing projects. If this is probably a little longer than we want to go into all at once tonight, but if you're working with small fonts on fine fabric, you may want to switch to a sharp needle. Universal needles are slightly rounded. Embroidery needles are semi-universal, so they have a little bit of a rounded tip as well. And with a really small font and a fine fabric, you may not get it as clean of a of a stitch in that particular case. So a top stitch needle in a size 10, that was the box that I was looking for. I have a top stitch needles in size 10 is an option. And the big bonus is that a top stitch needle has a larger eye. So even though the blade of a size 10 needle is relatively slim, because that eye is larger, it's suited for embroidery thread. So most of the time for fonts, you won't need a different needle unless the requirement is for better piercing through that fabric. And that would be woven fabric. And then that would mean that you want a sharp needle, and a top stitch needle is a sharp needle. I know Dime also sells sharp needles. I have some, I haven't used them yet because I have that whole box of 100 of the top stitch needles, but essentially a sharp embroidery needle and a top stitch needle are very much the same. It's just the top stitch needles come in different sizes. I would never go larger than a size 12 for an embroidery needle, personally. If you're going larger than a size 12, yeah, Anne's got a great tip. Deborah Jones, I hope to have her on next year. She has a great embroidery stabilizer and needle recommendations for you, and she would probably agree with that. Yeah. And Creative Appliques, Dawn is definitely an expert in thread and fonts and stitching and embroidery and all those things. So yes, for smaller fonts, I failed to mention that, but that is a really good point for micro fonts. And what's a micro font? Generally speaking, it is a letter that is smaller than a half inch. So more like a third of an inch or a quarter of an inch. Most micro fonts are a quarter of an inch and smaller if you're actually working with micro fonts. So thank you for that tip. Very good. Wow, it's 8 o'clock already, and we haven't done any of the video that I was going to show you. So let me go through that, just at least a few of them, and then maybe I'll break it up into another video, and we'll be able to talk about just a few things. And yeah, Forrest also uses 60 weight thread. Now you've already told me something big tonight. I want you to tell me yes, please, or maybe tells me, you're not so hot about the idea, but yes, please, if you would prefer that instead of a guest every single time that I throw in more of these, just let's talk. Let's have some sewing talk shows. And you can feel free to ask your questions. I love questions. Is that crazy? Am I crazy? I love questions. If you email me with questions, and being there would be easier for me to answer, obviously. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to answer a question over the internet, but I love it when I get a question, because if you're asking it, somebody else has probably experienced it as well. And if I don't have the answer, I'll search for the answer for you. But I love to share any answers that I can possibly come up with. Okay, so Francie says, yes, sewing talk is always fun. Mary Lou says, yes, yes, yes. All right, good. I'm glad. I love doing this. I just really, usually I'm thinking, I got to have something really good for you. It's like inviting somebody to your house for dessert. You're not going to just like throw some, packaged cookies out on a plate. You're going to think you should at least go to a bakery if you're not going to bake something. So that's how I always feel when I'm doing a show, that I should have something really good for you. So maybe I ought to just add another So Ask Me show. Hey, give me a good title if you can think of a good title. So Ask Me might be a good one for that. I have done before where I've had taken questions in beforehand so that I could prepare slides or a demo. Crafter in Maryland, I love your comment, and I appreciate it. Doing a demo at the same time requires switching camera. I don't have a big studio. I got a space I'm very thankful for, but I don't have the ability to necessarily have a lot of cameras and lighting in a lot of other places. So I'm usually either here or there, and it's a little bit hard to switch when I do these shows. So I try to prepare ahead of time if I'm doing that, but I'm certainly happy to answer questions, and that's a really, really good idea. And Bemeans says, your sewing room is calming in a stress-free zone. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Star says, maybe alternate. Yeah. Great idea. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Marianne. Yeah. Ginny, you don't know what you don't know. So you appreciate when I love other people asking questions. Absolutely. Oh, and thank you, Julie. You just, boy, that makes my day. Thank you very much. Yeah, and don't we just love talking about sewing? I'd like to know in the chat how many of you have a sewing group, while I bring up a few more of these comments, that you are able to sewing friends that you can get together with. A lot of us don't. I'm fortunate that I do have friends that sew, and I have a local group that I teach once a month. But I spent way more years of my life sewing solo than I have, being with, with sewing friends, time wise anyway. So for a lot of us, that's just the way it is. And that's the wonderful thing about the day and age that we live in, that we can get together like this, and it really is almost as good as being there, except the hugs are missing. So I'm a hugger. I miss the hugs. Well, thank you, Dawn. I appreciate that. I always love having you share your wisdom as well. And Barbara, thank you. Appreciate that. Yep, I'm going to show this one more time. And I'll just say it. I say it often, but I'll say it really quick. If you like the video, it tells YouTube that somebody else might like the video. Somebody else might like the video. YouTube will show them that video, and then they will get to enjoy some good sewing stuff as well. So you're helping not only me and my channel, which I appreciate greatly, but you are helping other sewists when you do that, when you actually like it and let YouTube know you like it, then they will share it with other people as well. How many times have you got something that popped up on your YouTube channel and you were like, how did they know I was thinking about that? That's always a good question. Scary one sometimes. But likely you searched something similar, and so YouTube found something that a bunch of people liked that was similar to what you liked and connected the two of you together. Oh, Linda belongs to an heirloom quilting club. Very good. Very good. I think I'm gonna take your yay or nay on this, but in my little video clips that I had saved were about 20 minutes long, and I planned that we would talk in between them. So if you're okay with that, I think I will just post that as a separate video. I would love then if you would want to leave comments on it or questions, but I'll just post it as a snippets recap of So Tell Me 2023, so that we don't take a whole lot more time in this show with that. So let me know if that sounds like a good idea to you. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kim. And Dawn, if anyone's looking, yeah, and that's the other thing, like American Sewing Guild, Quilts of Valor, Quilting Guilds, Project Linus, all of those are groups that if you search for them nationally, you will likely find, hopefully, you'll definitely likely find multiple groups, and maybe hopefully find one in your area. So Judy says, yes, that sounds good. All right, I will do that. I will just post that. We're getting some yeses. Sounds like a good idea. I had no idea we were going to just have so much fun talking for over an hour. It's been a blast. All right. The videos. Okay, this video will be rebroadcast, replayed on YouTube, and it will also stay on my Facebook page. I'll add the links for that in the show notes. And the one that I will add for the recap snippets of So Tell Me 2023, I will post that on my Let's Go Sew with Joanne Banko YouTube channel. So that is where all of my videos live. Just Let's Go Sew with Joanne Banko right there on my YouTube channel. Okay. Yes. Mary Ann says, would like to watch. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Oh, Karina, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Karina, again, if you're on my news, my email list and you got my note for the weekend, Karina is one of the great people that I got to work with to do the 2023 gift making, sewing and embroidery under the leadership of Angela Wolf. It's actually posted on angelawolf.com. You can find it. Karina made some absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous handbags, tote bags, whatever you want to call them. They're so beautiful. Reen Wilcoxon, if Reen is still here, Reen made a fabulous pillow. Rhonda Sigrist made, let's see, what did Rhonda make? A beautiful little holiday hanging. Angela made a really cool organizer bag. And Heather, my friend Heather Banks, who's also in the snippets video, she made a wonderful zippered bag with printable fabric that you could print on any inkjet printer, and a lot of sewing projects on that. So tell me if I missed anybody. I don't think I did. I think I got everything. Yeah. Karina, you're a trooper. Sweet dreams, Karina. Sweet dreams. Oh, and Ann bought the class. Can't wait to make all the projects. Christy liked the bag. Yeah, it was really, really, really a good one. Absolutely. I will also add the link to that since we talked about it and it has a connection. I will add the link to that in the video. Okay. All right. You guys go ahead and keep talking there for just a minute because I need to pull up one thing here. And let's see if I can find it. Okay. Let's see. I am hoping to be able to do this giveaway tonight. And I ran into a little glitch with the giveaway tool. So let me try to bring that up. Let's see. That's not what I want. All right. I am looking for the StreamYard giveaway tool and I'm not finding it. All right. I'm going to bring up some of your, okay. I might need another way to do this. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll do this. We'll do this another way. Let's see here. Okay, I got it. It's coming up here. Hey, Karen, good to have you here. Okay, so give me a minute here. Give me a minute. I've only done this once before, so I'm just figuring it out. All right, okay. That is going to be ready in the background. Thank you, Judy. Okay, so if you have hung around here, thank you. Thank you, Caroline, for getting that part number SA216. Crafting with Marilyn. Yeah, I hear you. Might be 2024 is not far away. And Maureen, you have some good good thoughts there. Yes, printable fabric. I've been printing on fabric for ages and ages. Actually, it was really popular about 15 years ago, and then it kind of like kind of fell out of favor, and then kind of gone back up now. So it really is a lot of fun, and you can do so much with it. April, good to see you here tonight, April. Yeah. Thank you, Mary Lou. Okay, question here. Do you feel all the projects are doable? Yes, absolutely, Marina. Nothing in there that is advanced. Let me kind of show you mine real quick here. Mine is a Crazy Quilt table runner. This was my contribution to the class. So it's blocks that measure about 11 to 11 and a half, maybe a little more for each square. It's all done on the sewing side of the machine. It's all done with very simple decorative stitches, a zigzag stitch and a straight stitch, and a very easy method for putting it together. So if you're a quilter, you're going to say, oh, that was a nice, easy way to do it. If you're not a quilter at all, you're gonna enjoy the project. And I think we had a comment before, it kind of breezed by me, and I didn't get a chance to pop it up, but somebody asked about table runner ideas. So table runners are, one of those wonderful things that you just transform your dining space. I'm not much for decorating as far as like, seasonal stuff. And one area though that I always like to dress up is my dining room table, if it's not covered with sewing stuff. I have to admit, there are times when that is my overflow area, and when I need room to do something and the sewing space doesn't have room to do it, I spill over onto the dining room table. Let me know if you do that too. And Ginny, where's your comment here? Ginny says she hopes to make that table runner soon. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying those projects. That is great. I lost your comment, Ginny. There, it's here somewhere. There you go. You hope to make it soon. Yeah, it's very fun. Very, very fun. And the patterns actually come with it. I happen to have it still here. You can cut those pieces because you're going to have 6 shapes. Here's just 2 of the patterns, but you're going to have a map guide to guide you through. Very easy to put together. But if you have a Brother Scan and Cut, I did include the FCM file, so you could cut all of those pieces with your Scan and Cut, or you could just lay the paper on your fabric, whatever pattern piece, and cut it out manually as well. And then just kind of a little fun side note, I mentioned this in the video when, and I'll link to the video where we all introduced our projects with Angela. You could use this as a mini pattern, cut these same pieces out as pattern pieces, and turn it into a coaster. Fun. That's another thing I love making is coasters. All right, Linda, what's Linda? Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Whatever works. Whatever works. That's like your she shed. Yep. Sandra does the dining room thing as well. I don't know if my friend Kim is still here. Kim, my tea's getting a little cold here. I better take a sip. Kim was creating on her dining room table for a long time before she moved into a room. And most of the time you will hear me say sewing space instead of sewing room, because not everybody has a dedicated room, and you don't need to. As long as you have a space where you can create, that can be your happy place. Definitely. Download. Good. So Francie, good. Is the paper a paper piece pattern? It is not. It looks like one. Um, I guess if you thought about it, I did a show a while back with my friend Beth Sweet from Sweet Time Quilting in Florida, and she showed how to create a paper pieced pattern from a printed pattern that wasn't meant to be paper pieced. Don't ask me to say that again. I might not get it right. And oh, that's a great video. Patty, if you can't find it on my YouTube channel just by searching, if you search Beth Sweet paper piecing with Joanne Banko, you will likely find it, or find it in one of my playlists. If you can't find it, email me and I will shoot you the direct link for that. It was one of the best shows I've ever had because I would not know the first way to do that. But Beth is a paper piecing perfectionist. And she knows paper piecing inside and outside. So, Barbara, you're purging. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It, it like it grows. They talk about dust bunnies under the bed. People that have dust bunnies under the bed know nothing about sewing expansion in the sewing space because the struggle is real. Absolutely, wherever that space is. And yeah, Kim, your dining room was full of, and you made beautiful things. So there you go. And you could have continued on like that. It just so happened that you had the opportunity to move into a spare room and make it your dedicated space. But it's a little harder for you to go down and stir that pot of potato soup that you like to make when you're up there in there. I know that. Yeah. All right. Yes, it is a simple pattern to turn into an assembled block in Design Center. Yeah, absolutely. Truth be told, I'll let you in on a little secret. I use Design Center a lot for creating patterns like that, PE design actually, because I can draw in there very easily and I don't have to have an expensive drawing program that I have to pay a monthly subscription for when I can draw in there and save that. So plus we've got the connection with Scan and Cut as well. So, and you've been growing 3 rooms upstairs. Yeah, whatever, whatever works for you. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to do the giveaway, and the giveaway that I promised is, this is something I have not done, so wanted to treat you with something really special for the wrap up So Tell Me show this year. I am giving away a copy of my Just Jackets embroidery design collection. This collection includes 3 groups of designs. I'd love to know in the chat if you already have it. But in the meantime, while I'm talking about it, you can put in hashtag just jackets. Let me go ahead and put that so you know exactly what you need to put. Let me do that as a banner for you. Hashtag just jackets. I don't know if that is case sensitive or not. So I would just go ahead and do the case sensitive. Okay, I lost it already. Hashtag just jackets if you want to enter to win. And I will tell you that I can only actually ship that in the USA. If I happen to pick a winner that is outside the USA, we will connect, you and I will connect, and we will work it out. But I am shipping to the, USA winner, if it's a USA winner, the actual physical color card that includes the registration information on the inside. The serial number is in there. You'll see some more photos of the jackets that I use this on inside there. And I will actually preload a Let's Go Sew with Joanne Banko USB with your preferred format, so that the winner will literally be able to take this to their computer or their machine, plug it in, and start stitching. If you want to register later on, you can. If you register your collection, you will technically be registered because I will be forwarding the connection of your name, your information with the card and with the unique serial number inside the card. But if you want to go online later, you can do that with this card and use the numbers that are specific to you. And you could download any other format that you want. This collection comes in many, 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 many formats, all of the home formats. And it also includes the I always get this confused if it's C2S format, which is the native format for Designs and Machine Embroidery, Embroidery Tool Shed, or any of their embroidery programs that you might have that that belong to the Dime family and live inside the Embroidery Tool Shed. So you can do more with those native files because that's what they were actually digitized in. But then the file that you need to work on your machine, you just need to let me know, whoever the winner is, in order to do that. So okay, I see some hashtag just jackets. Make sure, I'm going to take a few more minutes. Make sure you get in there. Hashtag just jackets if you want to win this collection. Cindy has made gorgeous jackets. Cindy, I have your jacket in the closet right now that you sent me. Cindy made one that was you've had multiple prize winnings because you had prize winning at the fair, and you also had the prize winning from our friends at Sewing Machines Plus. But she embellished beautiful jackets, with all three of the collections. Like I said, the card looks a little skimpy because it shows a couple designs of each category, but there are well over 100 designs in this collection. There are 34 appliques and 16 charms that coordinate together with either the rose theme, the folk art theme, or the sparkling star. So I've got folk art here. Let me spin her around so you can see the back. That's the folk art. And then roses here. And there are many, many, many pieces and parts. And then there's the stars collection. But the groupings are already put together for you. But you also then have the option of the pieces and parts that are inside the grouping. So that's what makes it well over 100 designs in this collection. It is titled Just Jackets. However, it is not just for jackets. These designs would look great on table runners and placemats and quilt blocks and any other garments you could think of, or crafts or home decor. They're beautiful detailed designs, applique and embroidery. So there's a combination. Some of them have an applique piece of fabric like this has here, and the heart and the leaves. And then some are just made up purely of embroidery. But the reason it's called charms, applique and charms, is that there are miniature designs. I actually created mini designs that would go in between the areas of the buttonholes, or like you see here on the cuffs, on the collars. There are just a whole bunch of designs. I'm working on some sort of course material that will coordinate with this. That's one of my goals for 2024. But you do have a full PDF of instructions that comes with the collection that shows you exactly how to place and hoop the designs on something that we would consider challenging, like a jean jacket. And you could do it with any hoop. I show a specialty sticky hoop, but I also show a standard hoop. So again, you can use this on any machine. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, Cindy's pretty amazing. Yeah, Jackets and More would have been a great, great, great title. And Karina, I thought you went to bed. On bags, absolutely. I've done it on multiple different things. If you love beautiful detailed embroidery designs, you will love this collection. And you will find this collection, if you're not the winner, on my website, letsgosew.com. Just look for Just Jackets. You can actually bring up a catalog of the designs so that you can see all those pieces and parts. You can It includes individual leaves, individual flowers. You want to get creative, you can do a lot with this, whether you do it in software or you do it right on the screen of your machine. All right, we'll take just a couple more minutes. If you haven't gotten hashtag Just Jackets in there, get your Just Jackets in there so I can get you in the in the drawing. Embroidered jean jackets. This, just tell you real quick, this collection was a dream come true for me because it was something that I wanted for a really long time. And I have never seen a collection that had pieces and parts that were made specifically to fit all those areas. Front yoke, back yoke, center back, collars, cuffs, and in between the buttonholes. I wanted a collection that included pieces and parts for all different designs, the roses, the folk art, and the sparkling stars, and be able to fit on virtually any jean jacket, or other garments that have yokes and areas like that. So use your imagination. Yeah, you could definitely do it. Jackets are really wonderful. The waistband, yeah, anywhere. I mean, that's what's nice about having a collection of pieces and parts that coordinate, where some are big and some are small. Some are applique, some are embroidery. So you can do a little bit of everything. All right, I think we're ready. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Chambray shirts. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All righty, here we go. I am collecting comments. And let's give that a few minutes to populate that. All right, I should be sharing this. Let's see if I can share that screen with you. Okay, it picked the winner. The winner is Marcia Jen. Marcia, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here. Yay, congratulations. It went so fast, it had already done its spinning thing and picked the winner before I had the chance to pull it up. All right. Wonderful. All right, Marcia, you need to email me at letsgosew.com and you'll find contact there, and I will connect with you and get you your Just Jackets. Let's get that out of the way there. Your Just Jackets and your preloaded USB. All right. Yes. Congrats. I have done jean jacket on the It's So Easy TV show. I saw somebody mention PBS. Yes, I have a video on that as well. Congratulations. Very nice. Hey, Marcia. Marcia, you're in shock? You should just be smiling, girl. Tell us all, if you feel like it, what machine you have, and hopefully you have an embroidery machine. If you don't have an embroidery machine, I don't know. I have to send you a box of chocolates or something to make up for it. But hopefully you have an embroidery machine. Let us know. All right, I think we're probably ready to close her up for the night. Although parting is very sweet sorrow. Yeah. More than Just Jackets. Yeah. Just Jackets and more probably would have been a good one as well. Judy's got to go. Marcia, you are very, very, very welcome. And thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much. All right. The only other thing I was going to talk about tonight, other than the video that I didn't show that I will post, is send me your thoughts. Send me your requests. It's not like I don't have a list of things. I do. But I think let me know in particular if you're interested in learning more about accessory feet, if there's some certain techniques that you'd like me to talk about. I'd love to put together some some new programs for that. I hope to do a little bit of rearranging in my sewing space, upgrading a few things equipment-wise, and hoping to have a little bit more time and space to do some videos that are not necessarily live, but what we call video on demand, so that you can watch them anytime, and they will just be posted on my Let's Go Sew with Joanne Banko YouTube channel. All right, very good. So thank you again to all of you who are watching live, and for those of you that are on the replay, great to have you all here with me tonight. I just appreciate you all so, so very much. All right, I'm going to say until I see you again, I wish you a world full of pretty stitches. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. Thanks for staying, and I'll see you again soon. Happy sewing.